Happy Friday, everybody! Happy Friday! Oh my gosh, I am so excited. Okay, so I want to tell you, for all my future actor wannabes or whatever the case, so this week was very challenging, right? And I was struggling with my anxiety. And on Wednesday, I had an appointment with my acupuncturist, right? I've been doing acupuncture treatments for something else. And she's like, how are you feeling? I'm like, well, I'm feeling really like anxious and unbalanced, and I'm feeling really off. And she's like, oh, what do you attribute that to? I'm like, well, I know. She's like, what? And I'm like, you know, this last week, I've played really 3 different tough characters. She knows I'm an actor. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And I've just so much anxiety and so much, you know, just like emotions running through my body that aren't mine. They're the characters, right? So the character's upset, the character's angry, the character's sad, the character's grief-stricken. But my body, my brain, my heart, Jovanna's, doesn't know that I am playing a character, right? It thinks I'm going through these emotions. It thinks I'm going through these like really tough situations in my real life. So that is something that as us actors, I'm sure you've heard, you have to like walk that fine line of, you know, taking care of ourselves and taking care of the character, right? So I experienced it at another level this week because there were such 3 different characters I've played. Like in the past, when I've played 2 videos, let's say in a week, when I've done 2 videos, they've been like similar-ish, like nice-ish characters. So I'm like, da, 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 da. So it doesn't hurt my heart, right? It's close to me as Jovanna, so I go in and I play, but it's not hurtful to me, right? So this week it was tough. And so my acupuncturist goes, wait, what? And she's like, wait, you're on Dhar Mann? I'm like, yeah. She's like, what is that? So I had to explain it to her. She's like, wait, Dhar Mann from India? I'm like, yeah. She's like, my physician friends love Dhar Mann. I'm like, oh, yay. She's like, they're always sending me videos. You're in those. I'm like, yeah. So she was like, oh my gosh, if you're having trouble with this, and she put an acupuncture needle on my heart. And I say this because all of a sudden, almost instantaneously, my anxiety and my emotionality just released. It opened up my heart. So yeah, so she put this needle on my heart and my emotions released. My anxiety eased. I had more peace and more joy almost instantaneously. So I say that because if any of you have or do or want to consider acupuncture, of course, if you're underage, you got to speak to your parents. But if you're of age, it's a beautiful healing mechanism. And I've done acupuncture for years and years and years since I lived in Miami. So like 20 years. I don't freaking know how many years. But it's relieved my headaches. It has relieved my knee pains from when I was dancing, my ankle issues when I got injured. It's helped my just other things that I've needed over the years. I turned to acupuncture because it really, my body responds really well to it. So I say this because we have to take care of ourselves, right? Acupuncture is a way I choose to take care of myself and my body. So why I wanted to share the story about being in acupuncture and having this heart-opening experience via an acupuncture needle on my heart chakra is one of the greatest lessons, epiphanies, moments that I recall having. I want to share it with you guys. It's very new for me, so I'm still working through it. So I think we can have a little bit of fun of sharing how this works for each of us, because as I learn something and as I'm learning it, I want it to hopefully serve you and help you as you're going through your journey. So I say this because this heart-opening acupuncture session opened my mind to something that I hadn't realized I needed to explore. All right. So as I'm laying there, after they put the needles on you, you lay there in a very tranquil, beautiful state. and I meditate in that about hour time that I have. And the lesson, epiphany, aha moment that just flashed before me was, I do not compete. I know, I'm gonna delve into it. I do not compete. So this was a very big moment for me, because I don't know if any of you have ever felt like, oh, you're in a conversation maybe with a sibling, a cousin, a friend, a non-friend, and you're like, oh yeah, I can do that too. Or I wouldn't do that at all. Like, I'm too whatever to do that. Like that little like competitive streak that comes in, and we're human, right? We want to win. We want to compete. We want to be better. We want to, get a better grade. We want to outperform maybe so that we can get the trophy, the award, the acknowledgement, right? So it's in our nature, right? We're humans. We want to strive, and it can get a little competitive. And in the past, I've always looked at that as like, I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not worthy enough. I am not enough, right? And I've gotten weakened by that thought if my competition or thought that I could compete or not compete made me feel smaller, or it would like take away some of my power, or I would just feel weaker and I would feel like less than. And it could be with siblings, with family members. It could be with anybody, right? We all have that person that we're like, right? And so I, in the past, would get weaker with this little notion. And then I had this epiphany in my acupuncture session, and it's, I do not compete. And it was so important to me to have this moment, because in that moment, I realized that I do not need to let this feeling or thought or weakening sensation affect me and my heart and make me feel less than. On the contrary, I do not need to compete. That means that if somebody else needs to compete, if somebody else needs to get the attention, get the eyes on them, right? If they need to have the spotlight on them, me granting them or gifting them the spotlight doesn't weaken me. It proves how strong I am. Because a person who can release the need to get all the attention, and you know who I'm talking about, the person who releases that need is actually the confident one. You can have the attention. I'm okay with you having the attention. Take it. I'll just watch, enjoy, and be confident knowing that I don't need it to stand out. That I stand out because I'm confident enough to give it to you. And that for me was like, wow. It was really, really like, it just released a lot of gunk in my body. It just did, because I have 3 sisters and we've all been very competitive. I don't know if you have siblings, and we've always been like, oh, you have to get the best grades, or you have to look the prettiest, or you have to have the nicest outfit on. Oh, why are you wearing that, right? So like 4 girls in one house, right? It's a lot, always. And I released it. So I was thinking, now that we're getting into the holidays and there's more gatherings and we see our families, extended families perhaps more, I was like, wait a minute. I don't need to compete. I can give the attention, grant the attention to somebody else, and not feel the need to, always feel like I can match up. Does that make sense? Because it's huge. It's huge because now, if we move past that and we move it to the side where it belongs, then our vision, our path, our journey becomes clearer. We have a direct point that we want to get to. And it's not obstructed with having to outdo this person or outshine that person or outperform that person or do better in this class because then I'll be, whatever. Like, it reduces the amount of anxiety and fear and stress you feel. And that to me was huge. So I'm still, like I said, uncovering it. I'm sharing it with you. But it was really cool to get back on set and be like with people on set who I may or may not have known, but who I sensed needed that attention, needed that little bit of like competitive streak. And I'm like, I do not compete. Take the floor. Do what you wish. Shine your light bright. But you shining your light bright will not diminish my light. I will not feel weaker because I don't have the stage. I am confident enough in myself that you can have the stage. Take the stage. Enjoy the stage. I'll get back on there at some point. It's okay. There's enough stage for everyone. There's enough attention for everyone. I don't need to like claw and be like, oh. I could just be like, it's your turn. Go for it. Shine. And then I'll shine. And then you'll shine again, right? So that's what I wanted to share with you as minute 22 lesson. I, meaning we, do not compete. I think that's really cool. When students are in high school, they think that it all affects the rest of their life. Many years later, after graduating, they realize it's not a big deal and that it's just a step. Why is that? Okay, this is a great question. So this is what I believe. I believe that when you're younger, everything is a big deal because you don't have enough years in your life to understand that some things develop to become important and are important in your life and some things are not. So when you're younger, and I want to say under the age of 23, 24, 25, right? I'm going to say under the age of 25. Yeah, I'm going to say 25 because even in your early 20s, you're like, so-and-so doesn't like me. It's the end of the world. No, it's not, right? It's not. But it feels like it because you haven't perhaps had enough relationship experience to understand that this person is not for you, that the person for you is down ahead, and you don't want to waste time with this person because you want to make sure you're available for that person who is meant to be in your life. So until the age of 25, I want to say, or at least that was for me. Maybe you guys are like more evolved than I was, but everything seemed like the end of the world, and I would get really angry. And I would get really frustrated because things weren't going my way. And so in high school, especially when you don't realize that a lot of these people may or may not be in your life for the rest of your life. Like there are people who, yes, you're friends since you were in grade school and you keep going. But that is like one or two or three, like tops. The majority of people you know from grade school and high school, you may not see them often, if at all, in the future. Everybody has different paths and everyone goes different ways and everyone, has different futures and careers and families. And so when you're in high school and you see the same people every day, you assume that that's going to be your bubble. That's going to be your little tribe forever. But when you graduate, Vyas, you realize that now you're stepping into a new bubble, a new tribe, right? So you're no longer in this high school circle. You've either moved on to college, to work, to travel, whatever you decide to do post high school, because now the options are more varied and open to you. You don't need to have one specific trajectory after high school graduation. There's more options now, right? So now you become part of different circles, different bubbles. And you realize that the people that meant so much in the past during grade school and high school aren't present as much as you're now forming these new adult relationships. So everything in high school seems like a big deal because that's the little bubble you know. You likely, haven't been driving much, so you don't go far. Likely you haven't traveled by yourself, so you don't realize that there's a big world outside. You go with your family, right? You do family vacations. But once you're a little older and you realize how big the world is, you begin to understand that you're a small little something in this massive world with so many options, and the things that were important to you when you were younger no longer really matter. And that's the best way I can describe it. Now, what I will say, how high school does matter, is that if you do want to go to a certain school or a good school or a great school especially, your high school years do matter. So your grades, your performance in high school is important. However, you realize once you're in college that, like, how you did in your SATs, you got to do good in your SATs to get into the school you want to get into if it's a competitive school. And no one's going to ask you what your SAT scores are going to be, like, or were. Like, I think I got asked twice when I got into college. And that was like two like ridiculous people who had nothing else to say to me. And that was like the first week of school. After that, no one cares. Sorry. You got to do good in them to get into that college if you choose to go to college. But no one cares, right? So all those things become insignificant. They make a big deal out of SATs, and there might be another regional or standardized test that you take or whatever. But those tests that you're like filling the bubble, I have my own opinions about those. I think they're ridiculous, and I think they do not really demonstrate your smarts or your wisdom or your capacity to do well in college. But they need to give us some kind of measure. And okay, I'm not gonna go down that way because, oh my God, I'm almost at the top of the hour. So what I was gonna say was, do well in high school, especially if you want to get into a really great school, college or university. However, don't expect your high school years to be as significant as you become an adult, because your college years will begin to form who that person is once you get into your 20s and beyond. So hopefully that helped. So with that, my loves, have a beautiful weekend. You mean so much to me. I love you tremendously. I'm forever grateful that you trust me to be here every week with you. So thank you, my loves. It's hard to say bye for now, but we must go out and enjoy what remains of our Friday, Saturday, weekend yay. So on that note, round of applause for us all. How about that? We all deserve a round of applause. Oh my gosh, so many blessings, so much love, so many massive hugs, and bye for now. Yay, you guys are incredible. So if you liked this video, go check out the others. I got lots of videos on this channel, so keep watching.